Hello, everyone. Matthew Thrift here with Brokering Different on podcast and on YouTube. And today we are going to be going over the top 10 ways to let your actions in real estate speak louder than words. Stay tuned. All right, number 10, do not miss important dates for your customers and clients. And what I'm talking about here is very, very simple. We got to go back to basics here. This is nothing new under the sun. Don't miss birthdays. Don't miss anniversaries. Make sure when you start working with customers, clients, especially if they're a client or even a past client, make sure you go back and you get that in your database. Get their birthdays, their wedding anniversaries, and very importantly, their house anniversary. Do not miss those dates. If you have a CRM that can actually help you automatically send information to them to remind them and let them know that you're thinking about them on those important dates, obviously a handwritten card is much better than something electronic. But if you are not able to do that, make sure your CRM is at least sending that out automatically on those dates to keep you top of mind. That's number 10. Do not miss important dates for your customers and clients. All right, number 9, make sure that you have a social media profile for every client and past client that you've worked with. Of course, there's going to be some way that you may not want to have a social media profile, but for those that you are keeping in contact, make sure that you have their social media profile in your database. Make sure that you are visiting those on a regular occasion. Make sure that you're liking their posts, sharing their posts, commenting on their posts, hearting their posts, thumbs up, and that's going to keep you top of mind. So make sure, once again, in your database and everything, you have a social media profile for your customers and your clients and past clients. If you want to continue to call them past clients, I call them clients for life. Whatever you call them, again, make sure you have their social media profile on and in your database. All right, number 8. Remember your target audience on social media. Create personalized lists with all of your friends on social media or contacts on social media. Create those personalized lists. It's very simple to do in your friends area of Facebook where you're able to create personalized lists. For example, you can have a family list, a real estate list, a lender's list, an attorney, whatever you want, whatever type of list you want, past clients list, and you're able to target those particular lists on Facebook whenever you do a post, because not all posts are going to be for a specific audience, but you can target that audience on social media if you create personalized lists on your social media and specifically Facebook. All right, number 7, food is extremely important. Yes, it is. Food is extremely important. What about preparing a meal for a client or past client or customer at least one time a month? One time a month. It's not very hard, especially if you're a great cook. Hopefully you are. But it's not very difficult to prepare at least one meal a month for a client, past client, or customer. Let them know, obviously, before that you're going to be handling dinner that night. Okay, if you're not a great cook, use one of the food delivery services, have it delivered, and make sure that they know, obviously, it's coming and it's coming from you. But that's a great way to keep you top of mind. Food is extremely important. Utilize that in your monthly marketing. Only one time a month. Do it. It'll make all the difference in the world. All right, number 6, keeping with the food genre here, moving day. Pizza on moving day is something that's very, very simple to make sure that you can have delivered. When your buyer clients are moving into that house and they have friends or they have family or they're doing it themselves, they are going to get hungry. Most people love pizza on moving day. Remember, their dishes, their silverware, their glasses, everything is packed in boxes. They're running around like crazy, trying to get moved in, trying to get beds set up for the night's rest. They've had a long day. Maybe they traveled in and closed real quick, and now they've got to unpack everything. Make sure you get pizza delivered or you take it directly to them on moving day. This will be huge, and it will set you apart from all the other real estate agents out there. Okay? And if they like a favorite beverage, you know what I'm talking about, make sure they have those as well. Oh, and don't forget the kids. They can't have those favorite beverages that we were just talking about. All right, number 5, utility company information is a must share. So what am I saying here? If you are working with a buyer, make sure that you take a couple extra steps and send the utility company information to the buyer a week, week and a half, 2 weeks before you even close. Make sure they have that information. You do not know how many times as a broker in charge I have seen a buyer move into a house and the very next day electricity is shut off or water is shut off. Okay? This should not ever happen. Make sure that you're sending the utility company information to the buyer, follow up, just touch base with them, make sure they're contacting those utility companies. A lot of the utility companies nowadays you can even go right online and set up a specific date for meters to be read, and that will just make for a smooth and easy transition for utilities to be transferred into their name. You do not know how many agents forget this, especially the newer agents. That's just part of the closing process, so make sure that you're sharing that information with them. All right, number 4, communication is key. Communication is key from the very beginning, from the first communication all the way to closing day. And what I'm really referring to is the fact of make sure you set expectations right up front. Communicate right up front. Communicate when are the times that you're not going to be available. You just can't. Maybe you go to church on Sunday morning and you're not able to get out of that. Maybe you have other obligations that you are stuck to. Make sure that your buyers, sellers, customers, clients, they know when you're not available. And, make sure that you have a backup plan for those times when you're not available as well. And another important thing about communication, go over the contracts in detail, especially if you're working with a buyer. Go over that, if you're in South Carolina, contract SCR Form 310, the agreement to buy and sell. Go over every detail of that contract, because there's going to be a time where you're going to have to rush in an offer and the buyer may not understand all the things that are within the contract. That is not a good place to be in. Go over those things prior to ever putting in a contract if you possibly can. Okay? Make sure that you know whether what terms they're going to be utilizing. Make sure you know what type of loan they're going to be utilizing and all the terms of that. This is extremely important. Set these expectations up front. Communication is key. I cannot stress that enough. Number 3, thank you will go a long way. Okay? And not just at the closing table or after the closing. Make sure that you do this, especially if you're a listing agent. When you sign a listing agreement with a seller, make sure that you go back to your home office or your office, take 5 to 10 minutes, handwrite a thank you card, and say to them strictly, thank you so much for allowing me to list your lovely home. I know you have a lot of emotions with this home. There's a lot of memories, but I want to make sure that everything goes well. That's why you've entrusted me to list your prized possession. And I just want to say thank you for entrusting me to do that on your behalf. And then, obviously, after the closing, thank them for the closing, because they allowed you the opportunity to list their prized possession, and you were able to make income off of that. That deserves a thank you. Do it. It'll go a long way, I promise. Number 2, do not forget client and customers' children. If you're working with buyers, make sure you have coloring books, some scratch paper, some crayons in your car ready to go, because what will happen, buyers will be going out looking for properties. Their children have to come along with them on a lot of times, and the children are going to get anxious, they're going to get bored, they're going to get all of the above. Make sure that you have something. Make sure you have little bottled waters for them. Okay? Give them something to do while mom and dad or grandma and grandpa or whoever is looking at this property. Children are lovely, but they can also sometimes be a distraction for parents that are wanting to look and make a decision for the biggest decision in their life. Okay? But you can be the superhero. You have something for the children to do, maybe little crossword puzzles or whatever the case may be, and you take that burden off of these parents or the guardians that are trying to look at a house and make a decision. You can do that. Make sure you have those in your car. That go a long way to show that you even gave an extra thought for the children and their and what they need while y'all are looking for properties. And number 1, concentrate on the value and not the goal. Concentrate on the value that you give and not the goal of just the closing. There is a Yiddish saying that says, "Men's trap, Gott lacht." And what it means is man plans and God laughs. So here's what I'm trying to say here. We can plan for everything to go right. We can plan for a great closing. We can plan for everything to just go smoothly. Okay? And sometimes we get our eye on the goal of closing. Okay? And that's all we think about. Let's get to the closing table. Let's get to the closing table. But then we'll miss certain things of value that we can be doing throughout the entire process, making sure that you're checking in on a routine basis, making sure that you're the one that keeps emotions at a minimum down, making sure that you are listening and you're communicating properly to your client, making sure, again, like we just talked about, having things prepared for children, making sure they have everything that they need, your customers and clients have everything that they need to make this process the smoothest process possible. Concentrate on the value that you're giving and not just the closing. Remember, this is not just a transactional relationship. This is a relationship that you should be building from start, and way after the closing, the relationship goes a long way. You want to be the agent that sticks with them for the rest of their life and for the rest of your career. Make sure you're their agent forever. And when they think of real estate, the only person they think about is you, because you put more emphasis on the value that you provided to them rather than just the closing goal. All right, that's it for today's podcast and today's YouTube video. If you haven't already, make sure that you hit the like button, hit that little bell if it's up on the screen, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and this video today, and I hope I gave you something of value that you can utilize in your daily business. Have a great day. Remember, brokering different, agent different, do everything different, set yourself apart. Have a great day.